So it's Wednesday and I have 25 minutes before I have to go and do another of my church customers who also likes me wasting her money at Marks and Spencer's. She's 8.9 miles away. She's called Mrs. Ex-Nurse. So today we've got this is the same customer as yesterday with the Route 66, and this is an in-box immaculate 77805 transportable. Something about a screwed up wiring harness. Of course these speaker mics are like hen's teeth, aren't they? You get the radios, you don't get the mics. I think we might open this up first. Now these don't have an integral speaker. By the way, we've got speakers on order from 3 different sources. 3-inch standard speakers like that Route 66 needs, and I think this delivery starts in about 3 weeks. We've got through quite a lot, and for some reason everybody seems to be out of stock of them. I bet this still smells new. I'll sniff it when I've undone it. New CBs have a distinct smell. You know, church organs have a distinct smell as well. The leather and the timber, and you know, it's a unique church organ smell, and they smell of church organ even when they're 150 years old. So I go in our workshop and it smells of organ. I think we're going to need the... Oh, I'm turning the soldering iron on when I've just told you they don't have speakers. Now these, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take the bottom off because I bet that these suffer from dry joints like some of the other baby Midlands do. I've found that when you get immaculate sets second hand, like they turn up on eBay, they've not worked for donkey's years, and that's why they're back in the box. And they usually have corkers of faults. I told you about my Binatone Route 66, and then when I opened it up, the entire heatsink was missing, not just the IC, which obviously was faulty. And you find this with corkers of faults. I think that Route 66 yesterday has been off frequency for decades, unusably off frequency, because the crystal had failed. And inevitably, well, if you're going to get a corker of a dry joint, it'll be under that screening plate. Right, we'll connect it up to the equipment. We used to have an extension speaker socket so we can plug our test gear in. They're a 12 volt radio, and according to the instruction manual, they are 4 watts when on a vehicle battery, and they are 3 watts when they're on the integral battery. I've missed something out, haven't I? It's the power lead. With Snappy's rubber band. So we'll drop down to 12.4 volts. and you have the light on and off to save power. So we've got sound coming through the speaker mic. Going into transmit, wallow, and we've got low deviation. I don't know what he's talking about, the wiring loom anyway. So let's see what we've got. My printer decided it was going to play silly what's it today, so it churned out some pages of wasted paper, like printers do. So with it being a customer set, we'll make some notes. Midland 77805, and of course this is UK FM. Nothing to do with people in other countries who may have a different version of this radio. I'll go to the 3-watt range. We'll switch picture in picture on, and let's see what it's doing on transmit. And the answer is it's doing 3 watts. That's the 3-watt range, that's full scale deflection. So they reckon it should do 4 watts under these circumstances. So let's see if it's on frequency. It should be 2779125. Of course I should change it to channel 20. 2779116. That's neither here nor there, it's virtually spot on. So I'll just bring that up right now. So that's one done job. So we'll look at deviation. Wallow. 1.8 kilohertz. That needs to come up. On receive. So on receive, look at the cyanide meter. And oh my goodness, this is good. I'll probably change ranges. Tell you what, we'll start at 20. Oh, this is. I'd probably hardly dare touch this. It's so good. 20 dB is 0.56 microvolts. 12 dB that's about it. 0.31 microvolts, and 10 dB about there, 0.28. So that's already excellent. Okay, I'm back after doing Mrs. Thingy's shopping. Anyway, let's have a look at this. So I've made a diagram out. I've got the service manual, but it's incomplete. Yeah, so we've got the transmit going that way. Oops, need to be in the right mode. Are we on picture in picture? Yes, we are. Okay, that's doing 4 watts. So I've put the spectrum analyzer on just to make sure that there's no shenanigans. And whilst that boots up, we'll do the deviation. Deviation should be VR105, which is there. Let's try it at that. Wallow. It's just a fraction too loud. Wallow. That's it. 2.2. Absolute maximum of 2.5. Right, spectrum analyzer's on, so we'll put in the harmonic. So frequency 27. No, we won't. 55 megs will do. Right, we'll measure that. It's a bit higher, 46. Now, there's 2 ways we can tune this final coil. We can tune it up or down, obviously. So we tune it up, we get that, and if we tune it down, it's worse. So we'll tune our 4 watts and then detune it. I can't do that. No. Let's try the previous one. We're now at minus 56, so we're just in the we're just where it should be, to be honest. Alright, we're done with that. I mean, this hasn't been played with, so you know, it's not like there's a snag there. So low power, let's switch to low power. and see if it's doing 400 milliwatts. You know what? It's bang on the 400 milliwatts. And 501, it should be low power, especially if I've got the right tool. Yeah, spot on. VR102 should be the TX meter. Back to full power. It really doesn't want to move. Okay, well it's not, we've probably gone beyond what it can cope with, so I'll go for the setting it for 1 bar on low power instead. Unless it's the other preset, which I don't think it is. It is. Well, would you believe that? So there we are, just on the 4, then on low power it goes down to 1, which is what we want. So that one must be RX meter. Right, that's covered transmit, so we'll now look at receive. The receive was really good. So we'll start by looking at the detector. Put an S9 signal on the radio. Turn the volume up enough to see my waveform properly. And the detector coil is L105 under the wiring. Slight improvement there, which is nice. Oh, while we're on 100 microvolts, we'll set the S meter. And of course, I've knocked that out, haven't I? Because of, for some reason, I don't know why I got that the wrong way around. So that's the receive one. So that's plus 30. We want that to be 9, which it is. So now I'm going to turn the signal generator up. Yeah, and plus 30 is there. And they're all individually lighting, so that's good. Not like modern sets where they have several bars for each stage. You know, you look at this bar graph and it's got about 30 divisions, but actually when it boils down to it, it's got 4. Oh dear. Right, let's look at the front end. So L101, drop the signal. And go over to the synapse meter. So I want about 4 dB on there to make the tuning easy. So we've got the first one. Second one. That looks to be the next one. And the last one. Okay, that's it. So we'll come back to squelch, we'll just check the sensitivity. So we've now got 4 watts. We've now got 2.2 to 2.5. Start with 12 actually. I'm right on the edge. It's the trouble with 0. The scale is 1 and then 3, 1 and then 3. So 0.3 is just at the end of one scale and just at the beginning of another. So on one scale I've got like 0.32, and on the other scale I've also got about 0.31, you know, so it's the same. It's no different. Not expecting it to be any different. 0.28. And we've got... change scales. Yeah. And then we'll just go for the 20. Which is about there. It's exactly the same. Very good. I didn't think we'd alter that, but the detector was slightly out, so it's going to be less garbled or a bit louder for the customer. So now we'll look at the squelch. Whoops, wrong one. They're concentric, these. I put the squelch to full. And we'll now... I'll put this on the attenuator control so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to go... We're going to go up here. 10 microvolts, 30 microvolts, 100 microvolts. That's where I need the squelch to come in. So it's not coming in at present. So I'll just remind myself which is the squelch preset. That's the Route 66 from yesterday. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's at the front here, hiding. Need to advance this to the radio. It's RV101. I've got absolutely nothing happening there. No, it won't come in where I want it to. So instead of the squelch being tight 100 microvolts, I want the squelch to be 100 microvolts. And it is... ...210 microvolts tight. Which is tighter than I like, but that's how it is. Okay, so look at it at the other end. Switch the signal generator off, set threshold. I've parked it at 0.3 of a microvolt, and we're straight in. So, minimum. is 0.31 microvolts, and it disappears at 0.21 microvolts. That's the hysteresis between those two figures, which is excellent. Nice and centered, but just if you turn it up to full, it's just scarily too tight. But that's how it's that Bannerton yesterday surprised me with two squelch presets, one for the tight end and one for the sensitive end. So there's actually nothing wrong with the radio. So it's had a tune-up. It's now 4 watts and not 3 watts, and the deviation's right. It's on frequency. The receiver was already spot on apart from the detector, and everything's now spot on. But in his letter, he talks. I'll just see if I can find it. Because the Midland Radio Rescue has got squelch and maybe start-stroke volume problems. Well, the only squelch problem, I've adjusted it as best as possible. The sensitivity is excellent, but it's tight. Full squelch is a bit too tight, and there's nothing that can be done with that. So, and there's certainly no volume problem with it, but there could his volume problem could well be the detector was slightly out. Yeah. Because of course he might be not using it into the extension speaker. But yeah, I mean that's exactly the volume you'd expect into its own speaker, which is fine. And maybe some channel bleed over. Well, you know, that I've tuned the thing. Nothing to do with the way the radio's tuned. If it gets bleed over it, that's the way the set is. Oh, what else? Something about the wiring loom for the mic. I don't get this. Damage to the wiring loom. Well, that's fine at that end. Tell you what, I'll switch this off, and we'll take the mic apart, just in case there's some shenanigans inside the mic. And while I've got it apart, we'll give it a quick spray with Service Sol Super 10. You've got to treat these with kid gloves because getting spare parts. I don't know how many wires are in this, but those ones like the Audio Line 342 remote, the Realistic remote, all these remote sets, you know, the chance of getting a replacement lead is well, you're not going to get one, are you? So let's carefully open this up. So the way this works, you have the normal switch plus. So you've got 3 sets of changeover contacts. You have a speaker in there, and these use the speaker as the microphone. And the microphone, to use it as a microphone, it goes through this matching transformer. So instead of having an electret microphone, it uses the speaker, which isn't always the best way to do it. I mean, that looks absolutely untouched. No, I can't see any snag with that, but I will just clean this switch. But it was not showing any signs of any snags whatsoever with me. Be careful not to over tighten these, because I don't want to break the moulding. Switch it back on. Sounds in there. It's going into transmit. Wallow. 1 2 1 2. Wallow. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Listen on the monitor receiver. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Yeah, that's what you expect. But that works very well, and it's another really nice condition set. So I'll put it back together, and then we'll put it on the aerial. Okay, so let's have a look at the back. Made in Thailand, distributed by Kerno, June 1990. Oh, 7785 UK. So that suggests there's another one. Wonder if they did a CPT one as well. Oops, I've gone and pressed the wrong one. Oh, of course I'm... So let's have a flick round. We use the speaker mic rather than the external one. Roger. Oh, there's life out there. 19 Roger. Okay, well there isn't much life out there, and they'll be about 35 miles away. So we'll do an on-the-air test with that, and again, it's a lovely set. Credit to its owner, and I can't see any of the things he was mentioning on that. So clean the mic contacts just as a precautionary measure. Thank you for watching Midland 77805 UK from 1990.